Okay, so the first trade I want to look at really is Robert Half. It's been consolidating under this resistance here, 104, for about, let's say, a month. And then if you look at the weekly chart, you can see that, you know, it had a flag pattern here and the breakout, strong breakout. Really, my entry would be a retest on this, but you can still take a small position here. You see the MACD curl is happening here. RSI is not too hot. I do like this. I wanted to get in on Thursday. I completely forgot about that, but it's a good entry. Let's see if we can get a retest of 104, 105. Holds that level, we can get 110 calls for November. I think it's November 19th or 16th or something. The monthly ones for November. That's it's a good chart. You know, you can see here, kind of does this flag, breaks out, and then it tried here, came back down. Another sort of flag here, jumped on earnings, and then we see this consolidation pattern here. I can see this, you know, going even higher, 120, 125. And you know, for those who are in the job market, you know how crazy it's been. You know, a lot of people are switching jobs, and these guys, they're the leaders in North America. So they should see the continuation in terms of people switching jobs or switching industries. So I do like this play, and probably gonna look for entries sometime next week to see if we can get in lower, just under 107, 108. So this is gonna go on my list. Let me build a new one here. That will be October 16th. Okay, so that's the first one, really, Robert Half. The second one is CleanSpark. This is it's a Bitcoin play, but it's also a green energy play. Those who've been here, they know I do like this stock as a long-term hold. And we got a few failed breakouts up here, you know, up here again. And if you look at the weekly now, you can see that descending wedge, and it's a clear breakout here, right here, right? 15% on the week. So I'm in at 13 and change on shares here. I really want this back to upper 20s. That's when I'll start scaling out, but this is a long-term play for me. Weekly MACD crossover down here, you know, RSI is starting to curl back up. So really like this pattern. It's successful for me, and the daily RSI is not even that hot either. So can definitely start picking up a position here, you know, as a long-term play on Bitcoin. And they do mine Ethereum too, so they have both of those going. So if you don't want to play pure Bitcoin plays like Mara, Riot, Hut, Bitfarms, you can play this one. They do green energy, like I said. And if you want to learn more about them, definitely do a deep dive on them and you know, see if it works for you. So I'm gonna drop this in the chat here. Okay, and we did Robert Half as well. Okay, Disney's another one. There was an analyst, I think it was late last week, came out and was really bullish on Disney, raised the price target, I think, to like 220. And the reason for that was Disney Plus and the reopening of all their stuff. So this, it's a longer term play, really. You know, with options, you need to have a time frame in mind. With stocks, you buy it and forget it. So sometimes I prefer playing stocks, especially when the market is shaky. You know, I'll buy in and I'll dollar cost average down because I believe in the company, right? So definitely here, 169 is a good stop loss. If you want to play with a stop loss, you could go even lower at 167. But this is a good play here. This is the weekly chart. You can see the curl starting to happen down here. Pick up some shares here, 165, 175, 176. We can realistically see 190, maybe even close to 200 by end of the year. Okay. Options on this, I would do January options on this, to be honest. I'm looking at maybe 200 or 210. Might be a bit too far, but 200 definitely for January. I can see that playing out. This pattern here reminds me of Netflix. If you guys look at Netflix between this range here, right? And once it broke out, you can see, you know, that was about a $50 move or so. So definitely when this, you know, you see a range like this over quite a few months, this was almost a year. That shows you there's some accumulation happening. You know, be careful there. It could be a, you know, distribution. So you do want to, you know, if you want to play this as options, you could do calls when it breaks out here, and puts when it breaks under here. So that's my Disney play on that one. Okay, I'm gonna pause this here. Okay, let me see, what was the other one? You guys can hear me, right? Okay, just making sure it's not me. Okay, so I will take some chart requests later. Let me just get through a few here, and then we can go over a few charts that you guys want to look at. TSM is another one, you know, talking about this consolidation pattern. With TSM, you can see this level here, really strong support. It's failed to break out quite a few times. There have been some fake outs right here, and here. But this level here is your entry, right? You wait for a bounce. You can see it came all the way down, bounced up, it came all the way down. This here would be your entry, bounced up, came down, bounced up again, and we are starting the bounce here. So you can easily get a $10 move here, and your stop loss is going to be 108, 107, 108. So your downside is about $2 to $3. Your upside is about $10 to $11 from this level right here. So you know, I'll take this line out. It's invalid now, and this one too. And let's change that to support. You know, identify the key levels, and you should be okay. This here is resistance, and that goes on my list. Okay, let's go back. IBB, it had about I think it was a 9% drop this 2 weeks here, 9% drop from the highs. It is bouncing on support right here, and I got in, I think it was 155 on Thursday, hit 157, stopped out. For those who are still in, I do like this level here. My initial entry was closer to 153. I missed that. I got it at 155. But this is the level that I'm watching as support. I do like it. You know, the healthcare stocks have been lagging the market. When you look at overall, a lot of this was because of you know, Merck coming out with their pill, which dropped Moderna like 15%. So Moderna, I think it's gonna go back up. We'll go over that one as well. But this is a good entry here for if you want to play the biotech ETF. Okay, so IBB, and the one I do like in this sector is Eli Lilly. This here, you know, could use that as a stop loss closer to 225, 226. If you really want, you know, safer entry is over 237. But I do like it was about 10-15% down from the highs of 275. For those who watch Jim Cramer, he's on this, and his fund, they picked up a position on this closer to 232. They like this as well compared to the rest of the peers in the industry, and the reason for that is you know, it jumped up this day here for the Alzheimer's drug, and then this was continued the run, and it pulled back a bit, almost coming back down to the pre levels. They still have not, they do have an Alzheimer's drug in their pipeline. They have not gotten any FDA decisions on it. Based on what I'm seeing, they have a stronger candidate compared to Biogen, and they also have a stronger pipeline in terms of the next 2 to 3 years. So this is one of those you want to hold on to, and you know, it's had crazy growth over the last couple of years. So you know, if you look at 2018, 2019, you see it's almost doubled or tripled, right? So it's really one of those that's getting in its stride. It broke out. I had this flag pattern here before it broke out, came back down. It's now sort of holding this level from the flag here. You can see 227 is the level it needs to hold. And if you want to go along with shares, your stop loss is 227, 220. You could go lower at 224. But yeah, this is one of those you wanna keep your eyes on. Let's drop that in there. Okay. From the EVs, really the one I personally like is NIO, and I had this downtrend here. It broke out on Thursday, and I was looking at a shorter time frame for an entry. My entry would be this level, over this level here. You can see it tried 1, 2, almost 3 times, and it failed. That is where I want confirmation. Really, I want a daily candle close over that level before I start picking up short-term calls on this. I do have leaps on this, January 2023 $60 leaps on this, but you know, you could pick up $50 or $40, whatever you're comfortable with. Do remember there's the risk, the regulations and all the stuff against China, so there's always that risk when you pick up China plays. But based on the chart, over 36.50, that's my entry for short-term plays. I would do 40 calls, say 4 to 6 weeks out on this. So you can see the MACD crossover down here as well. So let me put that in. Okay, from the cyberspace, you know, the ones I really do like are Net. It came all the way down here, and I'm kind of annoyed we got out early on this. For those who play this with me, got in at about I think it was 107, 108, and it just went crazy. I can't remember what call it was now. I think it was a 120 call or something. Yeah, it was a 120 call for next week. If you still held that, you're probably up to 400 or 500% up. I got way too early on this, but this is the one I like in this sector, along with Fortinet. Really is the leader in the space. You could go with also MongoDB. The only problem with this, it does not trade that well. It's very low volume, especially in options. So really the two I would go with would be Net and Fortinet in this space. DDog is another one that's good, but Net is my preferred choice in here if you're gonna play this. Yeah, okay. Looking at airlines, a lot of these were downgraded last week. American Airlines, Delta Airlines. I think the only one that got an upgrade was Southwest, and you can see the chart looks a lot better than the other ones. It's kind of pulling back here now, but if you're looking at a recovery play, something that you can ride, you're willing to hold it for a few months, and once people start traveling more, this is a good one. UL, I don't know. You could also do American Airlines, but really the one that and Jets is the ETF. So if you don't want to pick anyone, you could go with Jets, but the one really I would play in this space is Southwest Airlines. All right, let's come down to crypto. We went over CLSK. You can see the chart there. Coin, post IPO, it's still in this sort of slump down here. It really needs to get over 260 and then 282 to even go back up to 300. We got Mara here. This hit almost $60 early April. So this has ways to go, but I don't want to be in just a pure crypto play. That's why I went with CLSK. Riot is it's a good place to pick this up down here. If you don't have any Bitcoin exposure or any crypto exposure down here, this is a good level. You could do half a position here and add some more at 22. Or you could stop out at 22, but you can see the chart holds up here. It's bounced a few times. That's would have been a nice triple bottom if we got a clear bottom here, but we didn't. So this level here, 24, it's a good level to hold. So let me drop that in here. This is Riot. Okay. Ethereum, I picked up some of this here. I think this is when China announced they're banning it. It's getting close to, this is my take profit here. It's struggling to break. It is a long-term play, but this is where 3,700 really was my level of take profit. I'm not that heavy in here, so I'm not too worried. But those are my kind of crypto exposure. Some people have Bitcoin, and this crazy move here, about 10,000 in a week or so. I do think once we break 65, we will see 100,000 really quickly. We just need the big whales to start coming in and taking this higher to see that. And when this goes to 100,000, all the other crypto stocks will rally. Unfortunately, that might mean the rest of the market will struggle because money will be pouring into crypto and out of stocks. Okay. Online plays, these are just like you know, Etsy, your Roku, your Square. Roku is it's one of those that was like a COVID play, you know, so most people don't know how to categorize this. It goes up and down. It kind of had this cup here forming, but it broke down, you know, invalidated that. It's bouncing. It bounced here 293 or something, and yeah, I can take a look at that. And it had a really strong day, 5%, 6% here. I personally wouldn't play this as a long-term hold. It's more like a, you know, an options trade, a weekly or something like that for me. So I'm gonna skip that. Visa, I do like this. It did crap out here at the end of the day yesterday. I was hoping it would hold 230 and 70 cents, but it went under it. Let's see how next week goes. By Tuesday, I'm probably gonna cut this if we don't start going higher. And finally, we come down to the rest of the stuff that I normally look at. You know, Roblox, Zillow. Some of these, you know, they've been struggling, like that one. Palantir had really good news here with the government contract, and then it just reversed all of that and crapped down. Dash, 205 is a really key level. Above 205, it will go to 210, and then, you know, 215, 217. So those are the levels you want to watch if you're playing short term on this. And then finally, you have Snow. You can see Snow has struggled here to break that 325 level. But you know, if he breaks that, you got about a $20 move here that you can capture. Right now, there's no really entry here until you break that level. So last one I want to look at is Upstart. This is another one, you know, it's one of those that it really ramps up and then it just gets moving. You can see the earnings gap here, and it just went crazy, pulled back a bit, and then, you know, continue going crazy. So let's take that out. Yeah, these are the stocks I watch every morning, every day, and I make my plays based on these. Okay, so I'm gonna take some chart requests here, and we'll look at a few of those. First one we'll look at is MVIS. I actually was looking at this for a bounce here at the $10 level. I'll just take this out, and you can see why $10. It's right here where it bounced previously at 10.09. You know, 1, 2 previous bounces, and it failed to bounce on Friday. It went down 6%. I'm afraid under this $10 level, we are going down to probably $8.50. And if that doesn't hold, we're looking at closer to $6.50. They really need to come out with some news and, you know, get this reversing quickly, or people are gonna close their positions and get out. A lot of people loaded up in the low $2, $3 on this, and this is all profits for them. So there is a buffer, but you know, they have been mentioning a buyout since April of last year. Nothing has materialized. We have not seen any news of a buyout. We've not seen any sort of are they talking to someone? They keep mentioning that every earnings call, but they don't really have anything concrete to show for it. They had done a few offerings, which I think gave them some runway till Q2 of 2022, if I'm not mistaken, or maybe it was Q1. But time is running out for them to find a buyer and sell the company. I don't know if those plans have changed. I haven't really followed it since I think like here in June. But they need to get this reversing quickly here. It is getting too oversold, but like I said, that didn't hold, we're probably looking at 850 and then 650 after that. Okay, anyone have any chart requests? You guys want me to go over anything? Any trades from last week that we took? Mark, this is an interesting one. They did not come out with a cure. It's not a cure. It's not even a vaccine. It's a pill that's supposed to help you, avoid hospitalization, and I think it cuts down risk of death by 50%. But that's after you get infected. It does not stop any of that stuff before to help you not get infected. So this it's an interesting one. They don't have FDA approval yet. I know they are looking for that. It really needs to hold this level right here, and if that level breaks down, it's possibly coming down to 78, and it could even fill this gap to 76. If it does get that FDA approval, we could see it retest 84, 85, but honestly, I think it's just people are overly happy with something that to me doesn't personally make sense. If it was a cure, sure, this should have been 100, 150, but it's not a cure. So I think it's just a market overreacting to the news. And you can see that it hit 84 and it's down to $80, right? So that is an overreaction in my books. Yeah. Okay. If you guys don't have any chart requests, it looks like we're down to a few people. So I'm gonna drop here my list of long-term stocks that QDEL. Sorry. Okay, let me get out through yours first. QDEL. I actually watched this for a while somewhere here. I think it was somewhere here. And it was interesting, this level here. I thought when we came back down here again, you can see I had lines on this already. It failed to hold that, and it went all the way down here. So 100 was kind of the bottom for this. It came back up, and it's now struggling to break 155 to go back up. It needs to get over 143 first. So let me change that to a resistance, and that's now resistance as well. 143, and then you have a new sort of resistance here. We'll put it right there at 157, and over those two levels you can go to 175. Now I don't know what they actually do. I looked at this only from a technical point of view, and you can see this 265 to 100. That's like 60% haircut right there, right? So this came all the way back down. It had a nice rounding bottom here, and it's trying to go up on the right hand side. If you're playing stocks, you should be fine. You could use your stop at 104, half a position here. You added 115, 120, and then you stop out at 100. If you're playing options, I do not recommend that. It's very low volume, not liquid enough on options to play that. So stocks would be my play on this. And let me see the moving averages. It is trying to recapture. It just rejected the 200-day here, so that's a good sign. If it gets over the 200-day, it should start going back up. Now this has been downtrending for a while. We need to see this 200-day curl back up, and these lower time frame moving averages cross over the 200-day. So hopefully, I would say sometime here, which would be about mid next month, should hopefully see some crossovers happening on this. Okay, that's QDEL. SE. Okay, let's turn that off. I have never actually traded this name. I've seen it a few times, you know, going crazy, but never traded the name itself. Let's draw a few lines here. That would be my sort of, you know, indicator if this breaks down from the uptrend it's in. I would also use that probably as a stop loss, or I would use, yeah, I think I would use the uptrend here really as a stop loss if you're going long on this. If you want to go short, if it breaks that level, that's the short I would take. Now it is kind of getting, you know, flat up here. It's failing to break out to make new highs. There are lower lows and lower highs here, so I would be careful going long on this. Affirm, that's an interesting question. They seem to be announcing a partnership every other day. Let me see, what was this on Friday? Yeah, they had news of a partnership with Target. I think that was Thursday, or no, I think that was actually Friday. That's kind of, you know, what's been pushing this. They've had some really lucrative agreements with big retailers. This here was Amazon, and then this here I think was their earnings. This here was their partnership with some other person. So they've been on a, you know, crazy move from 60, low 60s to about 140 here. If it breaks 146 right here, this can go even higher. I think we might be in for, we touch that, we come back down a bit, and then we go up. I think that's how this is playing out. You can see the volume just exploded down here ever since they announced this partnership with Amazon. And why not? Because they're really capturing a lot of the North American market. Target, Amazon, you know, they're also expanding into different countries. I know they purchased a company in Canada, you know, and they partnered with Apple for Apple purchases. They also are expanding into Poland. To, you know, they're opening an office there. So they're really trying to move beyond just North America and move into Europe, where some other competitors are in there. We have Sezzle, we have Afterpay that was acquired by Square. We also have Klarna. So there's quite a few. Klarna is the big one in there, you know. That's really who they want to be taking market share from. Now Klarna is not publicly traded, but it trades even, I think it does like 4 to 6 times more in revenue than what Affirm's doing. So there's a lot of room for growth for them once they break into those markets. They're smart in how they do it. They buy up firms that are already in those countries, or they partner with them, and that's how they're getting into those markets, right? So really think I like what they're doing, you know. I think they have a bright future. we might see a bit of a pullback here though at 146, and then we go higher on Ethereum. That's I think so. I think you know, oil, natural gas, I think they are gonna keep going up at least for the next few months. What we're seeing in Europe, especially Britain, it's crazy. You know, the shortage there, it's ridiculous. And with the economies, you know, opening up more, we should see a continued demand. Now I know Russia stepped in and they said they were gonna kind of supply oil to Britain to kind of, you know, increase supply, but I don't think that's coming fast enough. I think we're in this spot where we're gonna see a global shortage of a lot of things, not just oil and natural gases. We should start seeing shortage in pretty much every industry, right? We'll see prices going up, you know, and that's not just inflation, that's inflation plus shortages. And you guys may have started noticing this yourselves. You know, used cars are going for twice what they used to last year. That's because of the chip shortage. Those manufacturers cannot make new cars fast enough, so the old cars are going for higher than they were before. We are also starting to see a lot of you know, farmers and, you know, food vendors. They're warning there's going to be a price hike, 30-35% over the next few months when their contracts come due, because the labor costs are going higher. So we are in that spot where we're gonna see a lot of price hikes across the board, right? Labor is the big one right now. Everyone is looking to get paid more, which in turn cuts down on the margin for the company. And most of these companies will, because the margin is already so low, they have to offset that by putting that to the customer or to the end people, right? So a lot of that we'll see translate to higher prices for people like you and me, you know, and that's gonna continue, right? It's not just oil, so that's gonna be across the board. Cotton is crazy, right? If you look at Levi, I think it was Levi or one of these, cotton is up incredible this year, right? And a lot of these companies, if you listen to their calls, they are warning that there's going to be a shortage for you know, goods for the holiday season. So that's gonna be an interesting one to watch. You know, especially with a lot of people still having some money, you know, saved up, a lot of money saved up from the government checks, you know, some money they had saved up, getting new jobs, and they have more money to spend. So the holiday season will see a crunch where people try to get stuff that's not available, or, you know, we'll see price gouging and stuff like that. So definitely interesting to see that. Moving on from that, I'm gonna drop a few of the stocks that that are on my long-term list. Let me pull it up here. Okay, we're gonna go a few of these that are on my long-term list, and then if you guys don't have any other questions, can I paste it in? No. Okay, I'm just gonna leave it here. Okay, so we went over this already. Net, you know, this is the one I do like in this space, so I'm not gonna go over that again. We went over Taiwan Semiconductors. This is another one, you know, I really like. This is a longer term play. We went over Eli Lilly. The new ones on here are Illumina, right? I do like this. Down here you can see it's kind of bouncing here, 370, right? It has, the highs were about, you know, 530, so it has a lot of room to go up. And it's one of those that, you know, you buy some shares and you forget about it. You come back in 6 months to a year and, you know, you look where it is. So it's not one of those that you're gonna get rich overnight, but this is one of the stocks that I want to be holding in my long-term portfolio. I initiated a position down here at, I think it was 390. No worries. All right, so 390 is where I initiated a position here, and my first take profit on this is about 480. So just keep it on your list if you're looking to build a long-term portfolio. The next one is ASML. You know, this here, it is pricey. It is still slightly overpriced, so I'm looking for this to come back down a bit more before I initiate a position. I want to get in closer to 675 here. This is where I really want to be in. So it has some more room to go before I jump back in this. It had a high of almost 900. So here still some fairly good discounts, but I want to be getting down here. For those who don't know what ASML does, they are they produce equipment that makes those semiconductor chips, right? They sell and service those, and pretty much all these semiconductor companies, they use the equipment that these guys make. They have a monopoly on the market, and they've not even been in the that long, but the equipment they make, no one else is making that. So right now they have a monopoly on the market, especially with chips, the shortages and chips going crazy the next decade. This should see a lot of growth from these levels. ASML, we went over Disney. I mentioned how to play that. We went over and this one here, really want to get in closer to 120 down here, right? Ride this back up to 160, 170. It has room for growth, so I do like that one. And the last one is Roblox. Roblox, it had a nasty drop here on Friday, but I'm playing shares on this. I picked up some at 74, and I'll be scaling into this all the way down to about 65, 64 down here, right? I believe that in the long term this will go higher. Right now we might be seeing a bit of a short-term downtrend. You broke some key support levels here I was watching, but it has room to go all the way down to 64, so I'm scaling in on this with shares and just riding this. All right, those are really the ones that I want to be adding to my long-term portfolio. If you guys don't have one, highly recommend you build a long-term portfolio that you're not touching. You're not reorganizing or rearranging or taking money out of. This is stuff that you believe in, you wanna hold for 5, 10, 15 years. And of course you wanna have either the SPY index or one of those that tracks the SPY index, because that's they say 97% of people out there don't beat the market returns, right? So SPY average is about 8 to 10% annual returns over the last three decades. So really you want to have at least SPY in there if you're not actively managing your portfolio. Okay. All right, that's pretty much it for me, guys. I don't know if you guys have any other questions, if you have any chart requests. If not, wish you guys a good weekend, and catch you guys next week.